Alright guys, welcome to the 62nd episode of Below the Bar.
In this episode, expect to find out how we got on at ATHX Birmingham, why deadlifting under fatigue comes with a high risk of injury,
And what we think fitness competitions get wrong when designing events.
Let's get into it. Right, welcome back to the long anticipated ATHX debrief.
Yeah.
Which we've buttered you all up for, live from my ICU bed.
Yeah, so a big lead up.
Well, it wasn't.
and
It
a
wasn't
big
that
L.
big.
No, it wasn't.
We didn't go off on social media like certain individuals do before events, and then they rap. Although I did rap, I hadn't made out I was going to win.
That's true. That is true. And we are back inside now because it's firmly winter again.
Yeah.
So we've been forced inside.
It's all looking hunky dory, isn't it? Really.
It is all looking bleak, and it's your favourite time of year. No.
We just went to Costa and we were greeted by a man who was drinking cheap Polish lager at midday on a Monday
At the petrol station.
at the petrol station, and a queue out the car park and round the corner from McDonald's drive-through
On a Monday.
which is like first day kids are back at school and you've already wrapped.
Yeah, I mean, I always look at the first, on a Monday, always try and take in how busy a fast food establishment is, because if your diet has only lasted the first 4 hours of the week, it's not looking good, is it, really?
I just think how people behave on Mondays is the kind of like a true showing of them as an individual, because realistically Monday is like the grimmest day of the week, isn't it? So it's like what have you got about you on a Monday? And do you fully just wrap and then confront the things you actually need to later in the week?
Yeah.
Or do you just kind of like
Meet it head on.
and actually just like crack on with stuff as usual?
Yeah, and the people who are in Mackey's have not met it head on.
Well, they are the wraps.
Yeah.
The wraps ordering wraps.
Well, the wrap from Mackey's isn't that bad. But yeah, anyway, this episode is going to be a debrief episode from our storied ATHX career.
Really short debrief on my part, to be honest. But
Yeah. So if anyone who doesn't know, we did ATHX yesterday, which is a functional fitness competition, I guess. And we did the Birmingham one, which was on our doorstep this time.
Yeah, should we do a quick explainer for ATHX? So as you just said, ATHX is a relatively new functional fitness competition. First year last year, this is kind of its second season, basically. They hold kind of a few events across the year in is it London, Liverpool, Birmingham, Glasgow?
Yep.
Yes, there's 4 across the country spread throughout the year. Split into 3 sections. There's a strength zone, an endurance zone, and a metcon, and the competition encapsulates kind of those 3 events back to back, pretty much.
Yeah, so you move through it like a conveyor belt. You do the strength bit, you rest a bit, you do the endurance bit, you rest, and then you do the metcon. So you're kind of in the competition for about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's a bit more protracted than, say, a high rocks race.
But a lot less protracted than a CrossFit competition would be, which I think was exactly what they were trying to strike. So a CrossFit competition, if you've never done one, would be you'd rock up at 9 a.m. You'd do a fucking 12-minute workout, and then you'd rest another 4 hours till your next one. You end up there all day, which is obviously shit. So this way, at least you get your start time emailed to you, and then you just get to go for your start time and just get going, which is better.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And then once you know that you've started, you're kind of in that process then.
Yeah.
And you have kind of set times for how long each station will take, so you know roughly how long you're going to be there. So we did it last year in Liverpool, basically cuffed it on the back of 2 weeks boozing in Europe. Yeah. Enjoyed it quite a bit. So this year we thought we'd take on the pro version, which is basically the same events, but kind of slightly more difficult, effectively.
Just slightly heavier weights and another element to the strength zone. I guess that's the only difference, isn't it?
Yeah. So we did slightly more prep this year, which was good.
Well, that wasn't hard, really.
Wasn't hard. We
did
didn't do any last year, which is good. I mean, we have to get into the nitty-gritty now that we've kind of set the scene, really. So what do you want to pick up first? Should we do it chronologically? A series
that makes sense, doesn't it?
A chronological series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
So the initial thing is that we were mugged off a bit with our start wave time, because Birmingham ATHX ran both on the Saturday and Sunday for the entire weekend, and we were drawn the second to last wave start of the weekend.
Of the Sunday.
Sunday at 3:30. Like, no one wants to compete at 3:30 on a Sunday. That's,
No.
I mean...
Because think about all the things you want to, like... There's a couple of things as to why you don't, but... All the things you want to do before you compete is in, like, smash loads of caffeine and do all... And, like, get ramped up. You can't really do if you're going to wake up at 9 and then wait till 3 o'clock to compete. It's like, it's a bit shit.
It's the first time it's really happened for me, to be honest, because we've been quite lucky with the other stuff we did. So the ATHX we did last year was about like 8 a.m. start.
High Rocks was about 7 a.m.
High Rocks was about 7 a.m. That was even earlier. And then obviously all the running events we've ever done, so like half marathons and stuff, are very kind of traditionally organised and start, you know, between, I'd say, like a 9 a.m. and like an 11 a.m. window.
Yeah, they're normally like mid-morning, aren't they, which is fine.
So I've never actually been in the position where I've been waiting around all weekend to compete on a Sunday afternoon. And I have to say, I was not a fan at all.
Well, no, it's not ideal, is it? It's not what you'd want. You would want the first wave on a Saturday, obviously. Yeah. So we know if we do it again to try and sign up earlier, basically, to get the better wave time. I think that's probably how it works.
I don't know if
we left it quite late.
Did we?
Relative to how much it sold out. That's why we had to get on the Sunday anyway.
Right. I didn't know whether it was just random, depending on when they stage each kind of like heat, you know, like so kind of like men's pros, men's singles.
Well, I think if you do pro, you're going to compete later anyway, because they do start with the Open on the day anyway. But anyway, I mean, it's not ideal, because again, the weekend preceding your competition, you also can't do fuck all anyway, because you're waiting and saving yourself to compete, and then you wait, like you say, you wake up on Sunday and you can't do anything all day. I was just rotting watching Friends all day. Because try and take your mind off it.
I'm terrible with kind of like pre-event, like nerves and butterflies. And it's not because I have any kind of like high aspirations of winning or anything. Like I just do get nervous. I don't know what it is really, particularly about it.
Quite a normal thing, isn't it?
I can't really do much about that until you actually just get out there and get it done.
Or at least you start.
Yeah, at least that's what I mean. So like, so I was hanging around, and it's all right if it's in the morning because you wake up, you're nervous, you get some simple carbs down you to kind of line your stomach, and then you go and you're done. But because we were waiting around, it was too long a time period really to just eat like fucking crumpets and Serene bars all day. You
had to have a couple of meals, didn't you?
But I couldn't really stomach like rich food.
No.
So that shot me in the stomach really, because I just ended up eating 6 crumpets.
Did you?
Yeah.
I always fall back into routine when I've got something like that. So I'll always have something I know is going to be low discomfort. So if I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel and go out for food where it's like extra oils or whatever, but I had tuna and rice, which I have every day, and I know that is absolutely fine. And I know I can always get it down. And and then I had some crumpets as well. I had basically crumpets bookending my tuna and rice.
Yeah, I'm fucking terrified. I can't do anything like before
comps.
A comp, other than just wanting to get it done.
I'm shit as well at eating during, because of that exact thing. For me, it's like there's a multiple thing where I'm like nervous for the next event, so I can't really eat, and also just hanging out from having sent it in the other event.
This is the adrenaline
post-event,
as well and
you
stuff.
can't
you
really...
just don't have an appetite at all. It's very weird feeling. And this goes into like professional sports as well. It's very weird. Like people are very individual about what they'll eat on, kind of like with footballers on match days and stuff. Like some people don't eat.
Well, famously
because they can't stomach it.
Usain Bolt's 100 metres being fueled by chicken nuggets just because it's palatable.
Yeah.
Sometimes like the optimal thing would be to have fucking whatever, I don't know, brown rice and whatever. But if you can't get that down, there's no use. There's no use prescribing that, is there? So if you just need, like you say, something to line your stomach, then sometimes the processed or something that is maybe not ideal is fine. So yeah, I was just existing on that, and then did have some caffeine afterwards, and then we started. And this, we've got to try and lay the curtain now.
So that was the first kind of like, well, not transgression, but it wasn't an ideal start, from before the off, really. Because our start time was not ideal. But the actual competition itself was a bit of a shit show, really, from like an organisational perspective. Because obviously, as I said, they break it down into 3 sections, right? And they post the workouts like a long time before the actual event, so you can train for it. So the strength zone was a 5 rep max deadlift, a 3 rep max shoulder to overhead, and a 1 rep max weighted pull up.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced they advertised initially in that order. And from a health and safety perspective, from like a coaching point of view, that is the correct way to structure that particular workout.
Yeah.
Because you start with the heaviest compound lift, where it's kind of like the highest risk of injury, and then you could progressively work your way down to the pull up, whereby it's just 1 rep, and then if you fuck a pull up, then you like might fucking twinge your bicep or
you're not really
twinge your lat or something.
But
ultimately, you've not got like hundreds of kilos going through your lower back.
Yeah, no, it is that way around. 0 to 6 minutes is weighted pull up.
When was that?
6 to 12. That's original post.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, but I mean that is fucking mental.
Yeah, so
anyway.
Basically, the structure of the strength zone didn't make sense really in my opinion, from a health and safety perspective, because the way that they work it is you start off in like a warm-up zone, like a holding pen, where you get half an hour to warm up for all of the lifts that you're about to hit.
There's loads of things wrong with this, right? Because the first thing you're going to go and do is a pull-up, weighted pull-up, and there's no pull-up bar in the warm-up area, which is fucking mental anyway. And then the last thing you're going to do, which is inherently the most injurious thing you're going to do, is the deadlift. And then so you're going to warm up the deadlift in the warm-up area to a decent amount. You probably go to like 80% or whatever. Then what you want to do is just step out and go and do it,
and just crack your 5 rep max. Then it's done. Then
because
you've built up to it,
and then you test it
because you've only got 6 minutes to complete each of the 3 lifts. You don't really have any time to build up to anything in the actual competition. You just need to go straight from the warm up and hit your
top set.
Hit your top set.
And so what you actually end up doing is you warm up to your 80%, and then you stand around for a little bit, but then you get into the actual competition bit, and you do a pull up for 6 minutes, and you do a shoulder overhead for 6 minutes, and then it's 12 minutes, well, probably like 20 minutes actually has gone by the time you stood around and stuff, and then you have to go and deadlift.
Yeah. And
so because you've got 6 minutes, you're then forced to really ramp up how you would usually build up. And so we went like 110 was our initial lift, and then 140, and then 180.
To be honest, towards the end, I didn't even know how much was on the bar, because they're just monochrome bumper plates. They're all black.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a real keen eye for the actual thickness of each plate. You know, when you're against the clock,
it's hard
to do kind of plate maths when you've not even got the colour distinction between the plates.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you lose track because you do a set, I'd do a set, I'd put a bit more on, you'd put a bit more on. And before you know it, you don't really know what's actually on the bar.
No, you're just going to attempt something or whatever.
Because we did the weighted pull-up went well. The first lift went well.
Well, really, not as well as it could have, but it did go well, yeah.
And
we probably won that.
Again, this is another thing really that we can get into. So the weighted pull-up, we knew going into it, potentially would be an issue, because we've done a lot of weighted pull-ups in our time, and we can actually do quite heavy weighted pull-ups. So we know that you struggle after a certain point, after about kind of like 50, 60 kilos.
Yeah.
You actually struggle for chain space on a weight belt to fit any more bumper plates
with bumper plates on, yeah, because they're thick
you
plates.
To then switch to kettlebells.
It's not even that though, it's feeding the chain through the fucking plates. Yeah. That's the hardest bit, because if you've got like 5-6 inches of plate to get through, you've got to feed the chain through, and you can't, like, your fingers don't touch, obviously, so you can't actually feel it, and it's just a bit of an extra nightmare that you don't need, isn't it?
So we were very conscious of this going into the event, and we flagged it as a potential
red flag
choke point, really, and we were like, well, they're going to need to think about that, because
we won the weighted pull-up.
There we go. Yeah, we won the weight. There's a victory
By fucking 15 kegs.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Because all the other fucking bean poles ultimately were doing weighted pull-ups of about like 30 or 20, weren't they?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so back to weighted pull-up. We won the weighted pull-up, which is a W. Didn't know that.
Got a check, thanks. I thought we did do well.
Yeah.
On that.
So.
And anyway,
So it got to a point where, what did you hit?
I hit 65.
You hit 65. I think, what did I hit?
65.
65, yeah. So we both got 65, but I had like loads
Way
more,
more in the
way
tank.
more in the tank, like another 10 kilos, I think.
At the very,
really.
like, you had probably 80 in you, I reckon.
And I had about a minute left on the clock, but we tried to then put more plates.
What we did, I think we had a 25, a 20. I think you had 75 on there. I think you had 325s.
Yeah, basically. So we got to a point where I had a minute left on the clock and we had 325s lined up ready to be put on the belt. But there literally wasn't enough space on the chain.
Yeah, we actually were trying to hook it on, and it just wouldn't reach. And then
So
by the time we realised, we've got to refigure the belt to make the chain longer, we obviously ran out of time and couldn't get it up. And the thing is, it's a rolling clock of 6, so 6 minutes just rolls straight into the next thing.
So then by the time it came to our shoulder to overhead, we had about 4 minutes to do that. And then that fed into the deadlift. So it was like, which is shit though, isn't it really? Because I had an extra 10 kilos really on that pull-up, which I couldn't hit through no fault of my own.
No. Well, if it was kettlebell, it would have been fine.
It would have been sound. So that was a bit gash.
Yeah.
Shoulder to overhead was just kind of...
That went by real quick.
As expected. But obviously because we bled over from our pull-up into the shoulder to overhead, we had about 4 minutes. So we just got one go each, effectively.
Well, I had 2 goes, but I didn't have any rest between the 1 and the 2, basically.
Which was mental, so you were cooked after that.
Yeah, I'm trying, I don't know if anyone's ever really lifted that much, but doing a 3 rep max shoulder to overhead, so you've got to re-rack it, almost bring it back to your shoulders. When it's 115, 120 kilos, is fucking insane. You're absorbing so much force there. And obviously your central nervous system is just
fried at that point.
Yeah. And so I did 100 for 3, and then I would have definitely hit 110, but I went a bit aggressive and went 115, hit 2, and then missed the last one.
Yeah. But I just mong pressed it basically.
You got 90 or something, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know we won the fucking weight pull up.
So that was a PB as well actually for me.
That's good. There you go.
So that was good. And so then we come to the deadlift. So at this point we've got about 4 minutes left on the clock, and we've both got to build to a heavy 5 rep max deadlift from cold, basically.
Yeah, and you've got 2 people to get through as well.
You've got 2 people to get through. So do the math there. Anyone that's deadlifted to any level really can see that the numbers don't really add up there.
Nah, because even a 5 rep max deadlift, if you take start to finish the set, probably takes you 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
So we went into this. What you wanted to hit
180. I wanted to. Yeah.
I wanted to hit 190 because we assumed that we'd just be going straight into the deadlift first, so we'd get some good numbers up. You in the end
I got 170.
You got 170, which was good.
Oh.
I didn't register because I went for 180. So already kind of in the moment, I knew I wasn't going to hit 190 because we just wouldn't have time, and I hadn't been able to work up to that kind of weight. So I put 180 on to be conservative.
I think what happened was you did 110. I think you then did 150.
Yeah.
And I think then you just went 180.
Yeah. But we
wouldn't
have any. We literally didn't have any other time.
No,
time I had to do it.
Well, my 170 was in the last 50 seconds.
Yeah. So basically, what happened is I did 2 sound reps of 180, and then on my 3rd rep, kind of 3/4 of the way through the movement pattern, something in my lower back just twinged, and I knew then that was kind of game over really, because for a start, I just have to stop deadlifting, so immediately I can't register a deadlift.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 zones would have just aggravated my back further.
Yeah.
So it was just game over then, really. I mean, it could be a lot worse. I didn't have to get wheeled out there in a wheelchair. But I
thought you were joking, you know. I thought you'd done 5 because I wasn't watching.
Yeah.
I thought you'd done 5 at 180, and then then you went, my back's fucked. I was like, whatever. I thought you were just joking, and then we'd finished because it's 6 minutes, you're in a rush, aren't you? I did mine, and then I was like, what did you get? And you're like,
I didn't register, mate. My back actually went. And
yeah.
I was very calm about it because I was conscious of the fact. I was so conscious of it. It was I was not comfortable with the way that it was laid out, and I knew that this was potentially on the cards. I was almost in disbelief that it actually happened. I was like, I can't believe.
Mental.
It's just such a fucking shit way. Just something completely kind of avoidable.
Avoidable,
completely unavoidable. And we signposted it immediately as something that's
flag.
Potentially going to be a red flag, and lo and behold, it was. As I say, the only positive is that
It's not as bad as
compared to like previous lower back injuries I've had. It's pretty minor. Like I've still got quite a lot of mobility, but it meant I fucking couldn't do the competition, which is shit, innit?
Gosh,
Like you pay money to go there. You want to put in a good spend a lot of months training for it or whatever,
and you only fucking get 12 minutes in. The thing is, also I surprised my back didn't go as well. So I did my max deadlift to date, the most I've ever done is 180 for 3 reps, and that was bouncing off the floor, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So let's say 180 for 1, basically. I know actually I did 180 for 3 in the week, so I'll say that. And I hit 160, which is heavy. It's probably like fucking 80% or whatever, for 5, because I thought that would be a good, decent attempt.
Yeah.
And then I dropped it, and he was like, "Nah, doesn't count."
We need to cover this.
Bollocks.
So I don't know how many transgressions we're on now, but it's fucking we're in double figures definitely. So you've done 5 rep max, and traditionally, you'd always encourage someone at the end of kind of like a heavy deadlift, especially kind of like a PR attempt, to then at the top of the rep just drop the bar.
That's why you have bumper plates.
Yeah, that's why you have bumper plates, because you can drop them, and it's much safer because you're not then following the bar down to the floor, not in control, which is obviously when you get injured.
Potentially not bracing or whatever.
Potentially not bracing because you're fatigued, because shock, you've just fucking lifted X amount of weight off the floor from a dead stop. So you followed what would be considered kind of like safe strength and conditioning protocol.
Well, it's just natural.
And
I
you
didn't
got,
think about it.
penalised for it.
Because it wasn't even that heavy. Like I wasn't at my threshold there. Yeah. Like I wasn't dropping it because I had to.
It's good force of habit from you.
It's what I always do. And then I was like, I haven't fucking got a score yet because he no rep me on that. And so I put 10 kilos more on, did 170 for 5, which actually didn't feel too bad. I probably could have hit 180 if we'd have had 8 minutes. And if I didn't do 3 attempts. But yeah, and I made sure, I stood up with it for about 5 seconds and then made sure I followed it down. I was like fucking taking the piss. But that is stupid. And obviously then...
so I'm out the game at this point. I'm just...
separate.
Yeah, so I'm done at this point. Like, I'm not entirely fucked, but I can't carry on.
Yeah.
And I've got like a few races and bike events kind of this month. So like the idea of like just carrying on to kind of burn the ships basically wasn't an option, because I need to
be functional for the rest of the month.
I need to be functional for the rest of the month. So I cut my losses and I was like, well, I'm out. But obviously, it's shit if you then have to stop as well. So to be fair,
yeah,
our legend, legend of a judge,
Ben the judge.
Yeah, Ben the judge just randomly jumped in like with a second's notice.
Yeah,
and like he was your new partner then.
He actually volunteered. He went, "Oh mate, if you want to continue, I'll compete with you." I went, "Fucking sweet."
Yeah.
So there was also like a weird 10 minutes. So you have 10 minutes between your deadlift and your start of the next event, which isn't long. And I was like in 2 minds as to whether I was competing, which bit I was doing of the like I didn't know what was going on. So a bit of a weird headspace to be in before you go and send it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then we sort of decided which way we were going to go about it and stuff. And to be fair to him, he fucking did a great job.
Keen as mustard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. It was a nice little redemption arc for him as well, actually, because like he ended up as a judge at ATHX because originally he was going to compete, but then his partner pulled out for whatever reason.
Correct.
So he ended up judging as kind of like a bit of a compensation.
Yeah.
So it was a nice kind of like, he went full circle for him really, because in the end he got to do both really. So
yeah, and he did really well. I mean, his endurance was really good. The middle workout. So he did well on that, and it meant I got to finish the fucking event, which was good. It's actually better than last year in terms of, I don't know whether it was just because I'm fitter than last year, but
probably
things felt better.
You hadn't been boozing for 2 weeks.
That's fair. Things felt better, and I think the way they did it in terms of splitting things up a little bit differently made it more fair. You know, because last time the 5K could just be ran by the racing snake.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we touched on that last year.
I think we probably did.
There was a definite kind of bias towards the Zone 4 hat in the endurance zone last year, and as you know, regular listeners of the podcast will understand I'm not really keen on that type of fizz, but I think it gets massively prioritised by a lot of the fitness industry. So
yeah, that's true.
So where did you come in that?
Oh well,
where did I
what?
come? Because my name's still there.
So I'm just looking, but
how quickly did I do the 5K? Because that could be my new PB.
No, we didn't do We didn't do too well in the grand scheme, I don't think, because it's
I didn't compete, so I won't attach myself to that.
yeah, it did well.
False flag operation. Ben can have that one.
So we came in endurance, 23rd. I think there was like 100 odd teams though, so
Pretty
um,
top quarter. Got to take that.
Not
top
too bad.
25%.
23rd. We did the 5k in 22:45
No,
and the bike in 21 minutes. The bike, row, and ski in 21 minutes.
pretty good.
I was responsible for the bike. Just saying.
Yeah, and it didn't work out really very well for you because you trained to do.
I hadn't touched a ski erg or a bike all month.
Yeah, so you basically one partner does run, row, run, and the other one does ski, run, bike,
Yes.
and you trained to run, row, run.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute, you actually end up doing ski, run, bike,
Yeah.
having literally not touched a bike or a ski
erg.
at any point in your prep.
Haven't at all, no. So my preps literally look like running, rowing, and deadlifting, basically, because they're the only things I need to work
And
on.
I was going to do
And
the
you were gonna
ski,
do
the
the
run,
other
and the
bits.
bike.
You've been biking a load. And my running, shock, when I did the little, I guess I ran for about 8 minutes.
Well, you
felt
sent,
fucking
yeah,
really
you
good.
sent it.
I just wanted to make a big dent in the run for him. So I did like probably 2k for him while he was rowing.
Yeah, 2K. You did like 4-minute Ks.
Yeah, I did. And then the end, he was flagging a bit, and I'd just finished the bike, so I jumped on and did the last 200 metres or whatever.
Yeah, you sent it the last bit.
Yeah, I did. I was running like 2:15 kilometres.
Yeah.
But
And then the Metcon was stinky a bit from what you were saying as well, because they're heavyweight. Like, in fair, and we said this, actually, you flagged this, and I was thinking it as too. Like, if my back hadn't gone in the deadlift, it probably would have gone on the ski or the Metcon, because it's just so hinge dominant.
So
like,
bad.
There was no real balance.
no.
Depending on which route you took through the competition, you know, in
Yeah.
terms of like how you divided things up. Like for me, it was just all hinging. There was no balance there, really.
A lot of hinging. Not much squatting, really,
Yeah,
at all. Not much like leg endurance, really.
no. But the Metcon, so you like the pro weight was like 60 kilo
6 kilo sandbag, 30 kilo
30
dumbbells,
dumbbell. It's absolutely
30-inch
stinking.
box.
30
for box jumps.
It's relative as well, because like literally everyone else in our heat
About
was
6
like
foot
6
3.
plus.
Yeah, we came 15th in the Metcon total overall.
Sweet.
That's pretty good.
We won the open one last year, didn't we?
I think we came close.
Yeah, fuckers. Take that as well. So we just need to do it next year and win the endurance zone, and then you cobble everything together. We've actually we've won an ATHX.
There you go. Yeah. I want to see how many fucking people competing actually. No, it's 43 teams, not 100 and odd teams.
In the pro.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Overall, L.
yeah,
Really,
yeah.
not a great day at the office for me. Or well, I mean, you still did well, but
I mean, the guys who won, fucking fair play. They came 6th in the strength overall, second in the endurance,
yeah,
which is mad, and 2nd in the Metcon.
yeah,
That is
pretty
fucking
good.
class.
Pretty well balanced that. Were they on roids though? We don't know.
Well, I
There's
don't know.
there's no drug testing. So
Harvey Jones.
there you go, Harvey. Hope you enjoy your win. Not joking.
Harvey's trying to find it. Harvey Jones. Yeah, I mean, it was good. I think it's a decent event. They could have definitely worked the strength zone better. Next year is a 5RM deadlift, isn't it? No, 5RM back squat.
5RM back squat, 10
Strict press.
10 rep max strict press, which
I'll
is
be
stinking. We'll be
terrible
shit
at
at that. That'll be a real humbler for a lot of people, actually, because that is strength. Well, kind of muscular
10 RM,
endurance.
is it? Really?
No, okay, it's muscular endurance, but
Yeah.
like, that's not going to favour the CrossFitter at all, that.
No, it won't. It'll favour the big fucking daft Dosso, won't it?
Yeah, me.
Yeah, you.
DOSer friendly, that.
Dosso friendly, mate.
And then the endurance zone is kind of like it's time based, isn't it, as opposed to distance.
I mean,
so
it's still very similar.
Yeah, it's a variation on a theme. It's 12 minutes run, 12 minutes bike, and then you swap. So
Yeah.
you have to do both. You
Which
can't
is
really-
actually stinking, to be honest.
that is really stinking.
It's really hard to figure out how to do that.
To pace it wise, well, you were saying
I mean, how to like who to go first.
Yeah,
You'd have to put, yeah.
you'd probably put your favourite first, wouldn't you? The stronger person does their stronger event first.
Would you? Because then you going in. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Well, maybe you do the opposite.
Figure that out. And then the Metcon's a similar thing.
Yeah, the Metcon's always a variation on a theme. Can't say at this moment in time I will be doing ATHX next year because it's pretty sour at the minute.
I was going to say, left a bad taste in your mouth, that one.
Yeah.
I asked the geezer at the end, so the head judge was recognised, came over to me. He was like, I recognise you because you pull up. See me doing pull-ups on social media or something. And so I asked him at the end whether he can get me and Jay tickets for Liverpool.
Nice.
Because that'd be alright. Jay wanted to do one, so that'd be the week before High Rocks. Be a good run out before that.
Yeah.
Provided we don't get fucking injured. Which there is no promises of, really, is there?
No. But so what I want to talk about to wrap this story up is the mistake that I think a lot of I say competitions, ATHX and historically CrossFit make in making workouts and competitions kind of what they deem to be harder for competitors, not realising that it's actually just dangerous as opposed to challenging.
The fitness rather
it's actually challenging like their their body's ability to just withstand being like beaten up, really, as opposed to how actually kind of like fit or strong you are.
Yeah. There's a divide between testing strength and testing just
like how far you can push your body.
Robustness.
Yeah, and the best and worst example of this is the CrossFit Games this year.
Lazar Djukic, which we spoke about.
Yeah, where he kind of tragically died, having just come off the back of, what was it? A
3.5 mile run.
Yeah,
into an 800 metre swim.
Yeah, in the hot
34 degree midday heat.
Yeah, in the height of Texan summer.
Yeah, it's in a lake as well, which has been sat in the sun all summer.
Yeah,
so it's not even like they were saying. You get in, it's like being in a bath. So there's no cold water like shock of, because I guess they were thinking, let's get it like smash the run and be really hot because we're going to be cooled down in the water. But a lot of the athletes were like taking on loads of water, couldn't see where they were going, couldn't sight because
absolutely.
So in the water was just like hazy. I don't know why. Like I don't know whatever was in the fucking lake. But normally you could actually see where you were going. They said they couldn't sight anywhere. So loads of the athletes almost got lost. The mad thing was, the athlete who died was second to go into the water.
Yeah.
Right. And he didn't come out. What happened? I watched this documentary about it. What happened was, his brother was competing in the same event. They looked very similar. And when his brother came out of the water, they called his name. They called Lazar Djukic his name. And no one realised that his chip didn't come across, which is fucking mental. For like hours.
Yeah, anyway. So that's obviously a very extreme example, but then at the kind of the minor scale, kind of like CrossFit does this all the time.
Well, this is the thing.
In fact, CrossFit has basically built its brand on shit programming, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've all been saying now since this thing's happened that this was just like waiting to happen. Yeah. Basically, it was like a matter of time before they start, because they had something in 2015, the first year they did the workout Murph, which we all know is fucking horrendous. Yeah. It's like a 40-minute slog in a weight vest, and they did that midday sun in the open air, like no temperature control, no heat tolerance or whatever. And this Cara Saunders literally passed out and fainted and basically almost fucking died then, and that was like 9 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And they haven't fucking learnt from that. But anyway, to link back, like some competitions do err on that side where you're just making things stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, at what point is this actually designed to kind of test an athlete's like overall kind of athleticism, or at what point are you just trying to make them like a performing monkey, basically?
Yeah, because the Olympics is a good example of the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's all safe.
You've got set events that are tried and tested through history.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're getting into. And there's
there's
set procedures to go through if things do go wrong, basically.
Well, that's the thing as well. But also, you've got, we're going to test fucking aerobic capacity. We're going to test a 5K on a track.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's it. That's all we're going to do.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? I mean, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel with different shit? And
there's a reason why, historically, people have always tested their aerobic capacity by running 5K. It's a pretty good measure of your aerobic capacity.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel too much. And like an example, like a 2K row or something like that, is fine. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate things.
And it's the same.
And it makes it more interesting. It does make it more kind of... It's both interesting for the spectator, interesting for the competitor.
But it's that tightrope, isn't it, that you've got to walk, where ultimately you've always got to have competitor or athlete health and safety at the forefront. The same with coaching, like, health and safety always comes first.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's kind of like how engaging it is.
Yeah.
Try and make it as interesting as possible within the parameters of it being safe.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, if you just wanted an interesting program, you could get clients doing like 20 rep back squats on like a Bosu ball. You know what I mean? Like, that would be entertaining. They'd probably break their neck.
It'd be entertaining for the people around.
Yeah, it would be fun, and everyone would have a right good laugh in the gym while they were doing it. But ultimately, they'd probably end up in A&E.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, again, it's a hard thing to balance. The only thing that ATHX did wrong there was just fucking
The order of the strength
compress
zone.
the time too much in the strength zone, and put it in the wrong order.
But it seems
It's such an easy fix.
But like, the pull-up thing is just so blatantly obvious. Like, so you're doing the pull-up first, but you're not actually going to put any pull-up bars in the warm-up zone for people to warm up for a pull-up that they're about to go straight into. Like,
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Like, it just screams to me that whoever put that together just like doesn't normally operate in that space, because if you do a lot of programming or something, it would just jump out as so immediately obvious to you.
Yeah, and it's not... The thing is, like, we obviously program for loads of people every week. This is... You've got to program one workout.
Yeah. So,
That's
like,
what you
you
gotta do.
think you just fucking absolutely nail it, given
That's
that you've
what
got
I
to
mean.
do it once and repeat it like 4 times throughout the year.
Yeah, it's just one thing. So it's super easy, and it should be really easy to get right. They released the 2025 workouts, didn't they?
Yeah, we just went through.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking whether they've got the order wrong again. They have, which is good. Now, well, they've got 10 rep max strict press last.
Yes, why is the pull-up
Why is the
first
pull-up
again?
first again?
Fucking hell. Were people going to get in?
That's mental. 3RM pull up again, like...
Why? Right, so you're doing a 3 rep max pull-up before a 5 rep max back squat?
It's just completely different demands from the body, innit? You put the biggest lift at the start.
Yeah, whatever you're going to be shifting the most timber on,
Yeah.
you do it first, because that's going to have the most fucking draining effect.
They've got it on
your
ATHX
body.
Open. The Open one's fine.
Yeah.
Makes no
It's
sense.
to be honest, a lot of you out there who don't understand kind of like programming or whatever potentially don't really see what we've been berating on about for the past 40 minutes.
But I mean, it's just like it's pretty obvious.
It's common
what it
sense,
would be,
really,
what it would
isn't
be the equivalent of, if you imagine, is you have a deadlift max to go and hit, right, and you warm up at home, and then you drive to the gym 20 minutes away, and then don't warm up anymore. You walk up to a bar that's loaded with your 5 rep max, and then just try it.
And just crack it. And there's some there with a stopwatch saying that you've got a minute to do it.
You would never do it. You'd never do it that way.
No.
And whenever I go into the gym to deadlift, I extend my warm up. I make sure that the jumps aren't too crazy, aren't too aggressive. I would never go in and put 110 kilos on the bar and start fucking repping it out.
Well, it's not like if you're actually kind of like training for strength, like if you're training up for like a 1 rep max deadlift or something, like a lot of your sessions, you're gonna do kind of like less than 20 reps, potentially less than 10 reps in the whole session.
Yeah.
And you'll be in there like an hour and a half. Because for your central nervous system to actually recover between sets, it needs a prolonged period of time. It's not like
7 minutes.
Yeah, it's not hypertrophy where you're kind of good to go in like 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
It's a different system you've got.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, innit? It's not the muscular system. But yeah, that's kind of what ATHX got wrong. But anyway, I guess me and that other guy did okay for the rest of it. But I was kind of detached from the outcome straight away anyway, because I was aware that we'd missed almost 190 kilos off our strength score.
Yeah,
so
it was always damage limitation.
There's no point really in thinking about, oh well, we're nearly winning this or whatever. Actually, until I got on the bike on the endurance, we were second.
That's class.
Just my bike skills aren't there.
Again, shock. You didn't train to fucking.
I know, and also like the bike, the C2 bike, biases the big blokes so much, mate. If you can fucking stamp some weight,
yeah,
through
basically, if you can just fucking romper stomp.
Yeah.
on the C2 bike. It's just like how much weight can you put through each pedal?
Yeah, and I only have a certain amount of that.
Yeah, exactly. And you're at even more of a disadvantage as well because you're not in cleats, are you?
Oh, I know. But no one is.
I know no one is, but like you're having to put even more effort into each pedal.
Yeah.
Because
It's
you've only
all
got
stamping.
because you've only got the downward pressure. You can't then follow through with like your
There's
hamstring.
no pull.
No.
It's all just pushing. It's just all quad.
Yeah, there's no hammy.
Yeah, and then back into the run. But yeah, I was annoyed that I didn't finish that in under 20 minutes, to be honest. But oh well, we'll go again next time. Well, I'm annoyed that I won't be able to do the same endurance thing again, so I won't get a like for like comparison.
No. So yeah, sorry if that's been a bit of a Sappuccino episode, but ultimately it didn't really go very well. So there weren't many positives to discuss really.
We couldn't really come on and say we won. But I mean, I guess we won the way to pull up. They've got to take that.
Yeah, we can always hang our hat on the fact that me and you can bash out pull up, be
good,
it body weight or weighted.
That is good. Out of like, what is it, 80 blokes?
Yeah.
Who did the pro category?
Yeah.
I'll take that all day. And last year they did. We didn't do the pro, but last year they did like 1 minute max reps,
body weight
3 times. Yeah, body weight. And again, we'd have been well ahead of that.
We would have smashed that.
So fucking bollocks. But anyway,
it's a shame there's not a competition just around how fucking heavy you can pull up, really, because we'd actually win that.
Yeah.
Relatively to our body weight as well.
They should counter that in, and also, well, maybe we just need to work on other elements, which is the game in it, or take steroids. Who knows?
Well, that's the other thing.
That's the other game.
How many people in the fitness industry are on iPads?
That's another episode.
Ooh, that's another episode.
Yeah, that's more plates, more days. We'll get him on next.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, the overarching kind of lesson from that is if you are going to do kind of like a CrossFit or an ATHX style competition, and kind of the workout design potentially isn't kind of optimal in relation to health and safety, maybe kind of manage your expectations in what you're going to lift, because you will be pre-fatigued going into stuff. So always err on the side of caution, probably, because it's better to register something kind of like 10, 15 kilos under what you would have liked, but ultimately you're not injured. Like,
yeah. And from a competition standpoint, you have something on the board.
Yeah.
Rather than not. But I mean, also what's probably useful, which we didn't do with any of these events really, is to probably run them through, like for like, because then you'll know what's going on. Because if it's your first time, because I think with that kind of, like a marathon, you wouldn't go and run the whole marathon, ideal. But in prep for something like ATHX, if everything's released to you, you may as well go through it in a pair, like get everything good to go, because then it's not your first exposure to it.
No.
You did that, didn't you?
I did do it, but
With the strength
because I didn't double check the order in which it was. I just kind of remembered from the top of my head and then thought, well, it must be this order because that's the logical way to do it. I tested it in that order with the correct kind of like time allocation. But if you flip it on its head, it's a completely different kettle of fish.
Well, it's attention to detail, because I thought it was 8 minutes that we had, and we had 6.
It's actually 6.
And I thought it was in the other order again, which it wasn't. So again, it's practice and fucking prep. But
certain element of responsibility and blame at our own door.
Yeah, exactly. But next time. Anyway, well, I guess we'll leave it there. This is going out.
Yeah, so this is going out today. This is live and direct. AJ Tracy. Is he still about? I don't know. But yeah, so next week we're going to go back to the usual kind of like structured segment episode. Some new segments to introduce. Some general housekeeping to go through. So sorry if this has been a bit kind of like, I don't know, fitness specifically ATHX centric, if you're not really clued up on what ATHX is. Hopefully you've taken something from it and you now at least understand what that competition involves and how not to go about doing it. But next week will be a lot more balanced and less kind of nausy fitness related stuff.
True. Yeah, exactly. Well, we shall see you next week for the segmenty episode.